spiritual stuff.
Hello, and welcome to episode
9
of Spiritual Stuff. With your co-host,
Chantsy.
Reaya. One day, we are going to get that right. Like one day we're going to nail that intro.
I thought that we always nail it.
Okay. You know the saying, two men looked up at the night sky and one saw stars and the other saw mud. You know?
I mean, I'm laughing, but internally I'm like,
this is good.
What do you
How
want?
good is it to start episode 9 with a good hearty laugh?
Yeah, exactly.
After everything that we've been through for the past few months, it's good just to, laughter is medicine.
Laughter is medicine.
And sometimes, it's good to laugh at your own stuff.
100%.
100%.
This came out last week.
Serious. Did it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's funny. Because then it enables people to look at things from a different perspective as well.
Yeah.
Once we all understand that we're all just walking through life, man. We don't have a book. So everyone's just doing it, the
as
way as they know. And they've only got their certain resources, they've got their certain map of the world. So you've got to have compassion for that. Sometimes, they come into your life, they do something, but it's a lesson learned for you. And then you take that lesson away and make that change and can move into discernment a lot more.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I think today we wanted to kind of touch base on co-creating.
Yeah.
We're going to do cards first.
Are we going to pull cards first? Because I actually quite liked when you pulled cards that we pulled cards last week. Yeah. The Wandering Star.
Wandering Star.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about co-creating.
Isn't it a Portishead song?
The what?
Wandering Star. Isn't it a Portishead song?
I listen to pop.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it is. Okay.
How many are we picking?
I always love 3. It's my go-to. Okay. What do our listeners need to know?
Oh, oof.
1.
Interesting.
2. Oh, I have to share something. Yesterday I was having a session with one of my clients and she's listening to our podcast, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, she's loving it. Anyway, she said, I have a little suggestion. And I was like, totally open to suggestions. And she said, why don't you get people to write in and they can ask questions and you could pull a card for them, or you could just, give them your download of what you understand or feel about their situation. So they could write in a question, or they could write in, like the example that she gave me, which was brilliant, was like, is there a ghost in my house? Or, we could talk about things like that. So if anyone that's listening and would love, you could either come on with us or you could just write us a email.
Yeah.
And love to kind of tap into things for other people.
100%. I'd be well up for that.
If you have quick questions about spirituality or about how to do something, or you want to know something, or maybe you just want a message, maybe. Yeah.
Even if you're like on your
Chanty's got a hand up, so I just need to acknowledge that there's a hand in the room.
But even if you've got a question about your soul purpose, or you've just been awakened and you want a bit of advice, I can tap into the 5D and my intuition on that sort of stuff. So I'm more than happy to kind of get in there and
we're putting that
Reaya
out
and
there.
Chance. Yeah, I love that.
Maybe this is the ask and receive. And it's so funny because about 2 years ago, I had this thing that I wanted to do a podcast, and I had this idea of calling it ask and receive, where people write in things and I answer the questions. And I feel like it's being birthed in this place, and it's an idea I had 2 years ago.
That's, yeah, but can I say something about your like, even, okay, so my experience of your readings, right?
Yeah.
Things pop up 2 years later, I
Yeah.
find, for me
Yeah.
personally. And so that's my stand mark on, like,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
If you think about it, time is irrelevant, right? So
It's divine timing. Yeah, but
yeah,
2 years.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny because I did a reading for myself, which I normally don't do at the beginning of the year, and I documented month by month.
Yeah.
I just asked my guides, what are the things that are going to happen? And for the month of August, it was bad bad news, and it happened. It's crazy. Like, I was very specific about something, and I think when I was writing it, I was thinking about someone else, but it's actually occurred within another situation. And it's crazy
Wow.
how specific I was with the information and how accurate it is. And
Oh,
when I read it back after I wrote it, I was like, oh, I think that's going to happen. But it wasn't that.
yeah. See,
So it's really interesting because my thought after I had channeled was like, oh, that's how that's going to play out. But it's not.
this is why, I mean, this, we're going to go into co-creation shortly, but this is why I find it really funny that a lot of people, I mean, essentially the world puts logic to that spirituality, and it's like, we cannot put logic to universal law. Like,
Yeah.
and it's impossible. You can be clear with your intent, and like
Yes.
you say, you were clear with your intent, but then it got skewed in another way. But that's for your highest good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I obviously, when I channeled, I wasn't aware of what I was writing. But then when I read it, I stepped into logic.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's how that's going to happen. That's how that's going to happen. And it's like, no, 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 girl. No, sorry. But it's interesting how accurate it was. So it's funny what happens.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should we talk about the cards and then
Yep.
talk about co-creating?
Yep.
Yeah. So what did you
Let's
pick?
My first card is the Hermit,
Oh, beautiful. Oh,
which
that's
is
nice.
inner work. It's healing. It's about connecting within. It's needing some time alone. We might be figuring things out right now, and we might need to kind of just take a break from overthinking or overbeing. What's your first card?
The Eight of Cups.
Okay. Oh, wow. So this is change.
So this is
So
change.
if you look at these two cards, the Hermit, take time to be with yourself, take time to reflect on your situation, and then you'll be able to step into the Eight of Cups, which is the shift and the changes.
Yeah. So any pattern changes that you've got that you really want to, change and shift, the time is now. The time
Yeah.
is now. Oh, I'm curious to know what your second card is.
Let's pull them together. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I got strength.
Whoa, I got the Five of Wands. Wow.
The Five of Wands is what? Competition.
Yeah, so personally, I feel like that, yes, there are challenges on way, but I mean, this
Yeah.
is part of breaking down the old to make way for the new, and we really do need strength. Yeah, I mean, I'll
Yeah.
let you take over the strength side, but yeah, this is definitely breaking down what we've
Yeah.
known.
Well, I feel like the strength is about coming into ourselves.
Yep.
It's all about redefining who we are and being brave enough to be authentic in our skin and within ourselves, to share our gifts, our abilities with other people. And I feel like a lot of us, interesting, have been in hiding or have been keeping things to themselves, and now it's like, okay, I'm safe, and I can move things forward, and I can trust what I feel, and I can start to honor what I
The
need
real
to do in this
me,
lifetime.
yeah. That's funny because when I first started out, when I did my last website, or my
Yeah.
new one, I had put that I'm an empath and that I'm spiritual on there. And I did for a moment have a freak out. I'm not going to lie, because it was letting go of something that, the old, and
Yeah.
stepping more into my authentic self.
Yeah.
But there was a bit of uncomfortability there. you know, there
Right.
was, but now I'm loving it. Because that's the way we're moving, guys.
100%. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got the Chariot.
Why do I keep on getting them?
Hey, you got some work to do. You've got some work to do. I'm okay over here. I'm kidding. The Chariot is about journey, progress, and success. So it's kind of like just confirming, like my 3 cards that I picked for the collective is like, if you take the time to surrender and let go and you do some of that healing work or energy, then you will feel that sense of determination and motivation to move forward, and you're about to step into progress, and there's a lot of movement and changes that you're inviting in around yourself so that you can receive.
Well, I mean, death is all about letting go, right? So
Transformation.
yeah. So as soon as you let go of any fears that are holding you back. Oh, you go, Reaya. You just
Like it just dropped in. If you know how we have this idea, which we just touched on, like we think we know how things should be. Maybe this transformation card is letting go of how we think things should be, and we should just feel our way through.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I was going to say something else, but then I got lost.
That's okay. I like that anyway. So I'm going to rehash my cards, even though they are like my spirit guides are quite honest. But yeah, I picked the 8 of Cups, so change and shifting.
Yeah.
The 8 of Cups in a standard Rider Waite is also about wishes coming true. So so we can take it that way too. But our wishes do come true through challenge, through overcoming challenge and strengthening within ourselves, because we have overcome those challenges and obstacles.
Yep.
And through letting go of things that no longer serve us.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to do something. I just want us to pick one more card.
Okay.
We have to shuffle and just pick one more card.
Is it the same deck?
See,
the Wandering Star? Okay.
If that's okay.
Love, please, love.
The Empress just fell out of my lap, but I just put her back.
Oh my God. Are we picking 3 or 1?
1. Just 1. Are you picking card on top?
Yeah, because it does keep coming back up. The one on
Oh.
top keeps on coming back up.
Okay, I got Knight of Swords.
The Knight of Swords. Yeah, right. Clear cut. Being honest.
Yeah. There's also clearing out the conflict.
Yeah. And then I got the Tower. So there's some sort of shock.
Upheaval.
For the better. Yeah, upheaval for the better. That comes with change. Yeah, after we change.
Can I just touch on something about that card? Because sometimes we know what we need to do, right? We know we might need to get out of a situation. It could be work, it could be a relationship, it could be whatever it is, right? We know that something isn't right for us.
Yeah.
But we don't listen, but we feel like we don't feel safe in that space. So what happens with this is a Tower moment. So what happens is the universe then comes in and something
does it
unexpected happens to shift the energy, because you're not doing what you need to do to break free from something that you're kind of holding on to. And that's why those Tower moments come and people get devastated. And it's not because they don't know, it's because they didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
The Tower means they knew that this was going to happen and they were just delaying
the
what
inevitable.
That was. Yeah. And then eventually the universe was like, we're not going to wait anymore. Like, send your people in. Like, let's go. Let's go. Let's clear this up. This is just going to take way too long. She's going to waste the person, not he or she, is going to waste way too much time here, and they don't have time. So come on, let's get to work, people.
Well, in this card, if you guys are watching, there's the sacred eyes on top. So it's like your deep knowing, intuitively, you do actually know that things aren't right. But yeah, the universe does take over and go,
But if you think about it, like I know from my past experiences, I stayed in things well over their due date.
Ah, who hasn't?
Oh my gosh, like well over. But
Yeah,
I always think it was for a reason, it was for a purpose. Maybe I wasn't ready to
ready?
shift. But eventually I always did.
Yeah. And then how much better do you feel for it?
Yeah. The only thing is, you look back and you sometimes say to yourself, wow, that was intense,
Yeah,
but we know,
we do know. Yeah,
we
we
know,
know. We know.
we know,
We know.
we know, we just don't listen. So touching on the co-creation kind of
Yeah.
moment is, every thought that we have has an effect, whether positive or negative, and we have to think about collective energy when we are making decisions and when we are thinking about things, because everything has an effect.
And it's also every action that we do. So not only every thought that we have, every action that we make
Yeah, has a
has,
flow and effect.
yeah, has a flow on effect. So if we're saying, and it's all about us being in alignment with ourselves and what we want to co-create for our future. So for instance, like currently I'm very mindful about, the business partnerships, even, making sure that energetically they're aligned, that
Yeah,
there's reciprocity involved. And
yeah,
there are occasions where, you feel when someone comes in and it's like, I want to go back to the old ways of stepping in and helping but my body's telling me no,
mm.
or to pull back in some way, shape, or form. And it's funny, that's the moment I start pulling cards, and it's like, what are you pulling cards for? That
Yeah,
moment
but
when
we
you're in
we
anxiety because
we
you're
know
not used to it.
the anxiety comes because we're not listening.
We're not listening, and we know that it's a bit of discomfort because we're not used to it. It's change, you
Yeah,
know.
and we obviously don't want to step through something, or maybe we don't want to hurt somebody, so we
Yeah,
stay in something that's not right for us.
that's it. That's it.
But
Yeah,
we got to own our stuff. We got to own our thoughts. We got to own our decisions, and we've got to come from this place of deep connection with the decisions and the choices that we make, because everything has a consequence.
yeah,
I'm doing a course at the moment, and in the course they were talking about the universe remembers everything, and that's kind of like karmic energy.
mm-hmm,
Like, you know everything is recorded. It doesn't matter
mm-hmm,
when you did it or what happened. It is recorded, and there will be an effect that needs to take place
yeah,
because of whatever's happened, whether that's positive or negative.
yeah, yeah,
If you're living this beautiful, harmonious life, you're going to find that your life is just going to keep flowing, and beautiful things come to you because you're giving to people, you're being kind, you're protecting your energy, you're holding your space for yourself. And deep inside of you, you know that you are deserving of all this.
yeah. There are times where, like, I think this is where, unfortunately, we haven't been taught about the laws of karma. And it's so funny. I was
Yeah.
watching an old childhood show a couple of months ago, and it was called Monkey. I don't think you've watched Monkey, have you? But Monkey, Monkey did some bad in heaven, or like in the other realm, and he got punished, and he got punished karmically, and was attached to a rock for 300 years. And then Monkey had to take the high priestess along with other protectors through China, and
Yeah.
to a temple. And Kuan Yin had given them that journey, or
Yeah.
that task.
Yeah.
But yeah, like every karma is very much real. And I think the one thing that people just don't realize it, because we've got so many things these days. We've got alcohol and I'm not going to poo-poo these things, but they do distract us from what we're doing. So if we're consciously living in the moment, if we're consciously being that observer of our own life, it means that we are taking control, and not in a logical way as such, but we're taking control of our actions. We're taking control of our thoughts, and we're more in flow. But that does take work, and we're not perfect, so we do take steps back, but the more consciously aware we are.
But it's interesting, because in this course that I'm doing, she was explaining, like, once you step on your spiritual path, you don't realize how much work there is to do. And the thing is, once you know, you can't unknow what you know. And there's this continuous, there's this kind of continuous healing and learning and growing. And, I have clients that come in and go, well, aren't I done with that? And I'm like, that's up to you. It's not up for me to decide, but if it's still sitting in your vibration and I'm feeling it and my mind is going there and you're saying yes to it, then the answer is yes. But what I'm saying is, we get to choose, but we don't realize that we carry so much in our energy field from our past and from experiences, because we think it's helping us, but it's actually harming us energetically, because we need to let go of things as they come. We need to understand that that was just here for a moment in time to help us grow or to help us move forward. It wasn't here to create destruction or to hurt us or to create pain. It's here for us to grow.
Yeah. It's funny because, I mean, you've hit the nail on the head right there, because our unconscious mind actually stores the most of our memories. So that's where all our, when we talk about our energy, that's where all our unconscious thoughts are. And it's funny, I was doing a course last week and the guy who was running the course had mentioned that he was seeing someone. Were you laughing at? I just coughed.
No. I was laughing because we're both doing courses at the moment, and we didn't even know that we're doing courses.
Yeah,
but
at the same time.
I'm doing a course.
We're doing a course.
Courses.
But the guy who was running the course had a session with a person, and the guy that he was seeing had consciously remembered a moment within his childhood that was actually quite nice. It was like his mum creating this beautiful meal, and it was a meal that he loved. But then once they delved a little bit deeper in the session, what the guy hadn't realized was another part of that memory, which was stored in the unconscious mind, was something that was traumatic. Like there was trauma behind it. So the unconscious mind actually protects us, right, by hiding the trauma. So it's up to us that once that stuff starts to bubble up, it's like that's when we need to go a little bit deeper and delve deeper to actually understand what it is that we need to release and process. And that stuff that stuff is sitting in our DNA, and that's lifetimes of stuff. Like I'm talking, past lives even,
Oh, it's an interesting journey, but at the same time, we're all here for different purposes, for different reasons. We all have different lessons that we've all agreed to. And, like we were saying, maybe it was in the moon medicine, we just have to keep showing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to just show up for ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to love ourselves. We've got to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that has to start to be a priority for all of us.
Yeah.
And we have to do things with the kindness of our heart.
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely dipping into a more
I think that's
state.
That's like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but maybe that's a conversation for another time, because there's this fine line between being nice and then being taken advantage of.
Well, that's where the discernment comes in. It was actually funny because I was watching something this morning on Christ consciousness. Yeah. And I will put the link up in the post.
Yeah.
And it's, all these lessons that have been learned along the way, where we might have been burnt along the way, more than likely. That's all about, will we let that happen again? No, because we've learnt that lesson. We're now discerning. But
Yeah.
how we go about it the following time, it's not by being mean or, or being rude about it, or by wishing ill intent on another person. It's just about holding your boundary and doing it
Feeling
in a
safe.
more, and feeling safe, but doing it in a more heartfelt way, I feel. So
Yeah.
just wishing them well,
Yeah.
wishing them well,
Yeah.
but not buying into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because everything has a vibration.
Yeah.
Every single thought, every single word, every single thing has a vibration. And that's what we need to start to attune to. Does
Yeah.
that vibration feel right for us? And sometimes we do things because we feel lonely, or because we feel like it's something that we need, and we step into something that may not be right for us because of something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not because my heart is really happy here. And
Yeah.
then you're going to find out that later down the track, you're going to have a whole world of problems because you've entered that agreement on the wrong basis or on the
Mm-hmm.
wrong terms.
Yeah. It's funny that you talk about vibrations as well, because I think that it keeps coming up for me today. Like, I have been saging my energy for the last couple of months, like daily. And I think that energetic clearing goes hand in hand with like cleaning our bodies,
Yeah.
and yeah, like I'm sure, I mean, you have probably been doing it for years, no doubt, Raya, with
Yeah.
the work that you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I do energetic clearing on my own body
Yeah, that's right.
all the time. I'm constantly moving stuff. Like some days I wake up and I'm so heavy, and I think I'm really heavy because not only do I work a lot, but I also do work in my sleep. So some days I wake up and I feel like, oh, and
Yeah,
I have to kind of energetically clear that away from me so that I can come in fresh, if that makes sense.
that's it. Because then once you clear that energy, what happens?
You clear.
Yeah,
You
you
feel
get,
lighter, you feel freer, like whatever was, it's gone.
that's it. Yeah,
And it's all through an intention. It's
that's
all
it.
through vibration.
That's it. And so, like for me, like I told Raya just before this, I've been doing a lot of cord cutting now. Like, I know it sounds harsh, but I think it's more like transmuting those energies that I kind of run into throughout each day.
Yeah.
Not from a malice point of view, it's just more so to cleanse my body and cleanse my energetic aura. But that is more important to me, and I'm just
Yeah.
taking this from my standpoint, than even getting a massage,
Yeah.
because my my energy, I mean, yesterday I saw one person and I was not on them, but I was actually quite tired afterwards, and so it does kind of knock you about, so then that's when I did the whole cord cut again. But yeah, it's funny, we haven't been taught this stuff, but it's so pertinent to include in our day-to-day life for ourselves.
Yeah. It is very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. All
Well,
right.
I think we should wrap it up.
Should we pick one more card just quickly to wrap it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Did you put your cards back in?
Oh, I just had 3 fly out.
Oh, I have one that just turned over when I was shuffling. He's the king of
Yeah.
King of Swords.
I'm gonna choose mine again because I've had about
Ambition, power, influence. This is about coming into your own, owning where you're at, and being really clear with the things that you want to create. And I don't know why I'm getting this message. It's okay for you just to be you. Individuality.
It's probably because the devil keeps on popping out.
That damn devil.
Shadow self. The shadow self. But I had to
Did
pick
you
out
keep
one
getting
more.
it?
Twice. So I had to pick out the high priestess.
You needed to counteract it. You're like, give me some safeguard here. Protect me from this. I don't want any bad messages.
I
just want good
know.
stuff.
ridiculous. Anyway. All right.
Um,
You want to wrap it up?
ciao.
Ciao, guys. Thank you for listening.
Also, just one last thing. If you guys would like anything answered, or if you'd like to know anything or share anything, our details. The thing is, I don't think if people are listening on Spotify, are they on Spotify?
Oh, they should. Yeah, they transfer over from Buzzsprout. Yeah,
Okay.
so there is
yeah, our email should be on there. So feel free to email either of us, or maybe we'll start a new email and say, inquire, like, I don't know, message us here or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. We'll put it on the post.
Yeah.
Easy done.
So that people know where to send it to.
Yeah, and please get in touch because we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah. Come
Yeah.
on. Come on.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone.
Much love. Much love.
Namaste.